Oh. A little while ago, there was a bit of a resurgence in the training styles popularised by IFBB pro and 70s bodybuilder Mike Mentzer. Michael Mentzer. Michael! For the last couple of days, I've been spending my time training like Mike Mentzer, so I'm going to let those clips roll in the background if that's cool. While I talk a little bit about Mike Mentzer's history. The Philadelphia-born bodybuilder was influenced by concepts developed by Arthur Jones, a prolific inventor and founder of Nautilus Inc. Mentzer devised and successfully implemented his own theory of bodybuilding. His heavy-duty training program advocates for high intensity and low volume. For those of you already familiar with Mike Mentzer, you may already know his story, but for those of you who don't, here's pretty much what happened in a super condensed form. Obviously, I can't fit in everything that happened to Mike Mentzer during this video. It's not about him, it's about me, obviously. My channel, Lucas Lifts, not Mike Mentzer Lifts. Mentzer started competing in local physique contests when he was 18 years old, although he originally started bodybuilding when he was just 11 years old. After competing in local physique contests, he entered and won the Mr. Lancaster contest in 1971. Later that year, he suffered his worst defeat yet, placing 10th at the AAU Mr. America. Although he didn't leave empty-handed, Mike got in touch with the winner of the competition, Casey Theater, and got the contact information for his trainer Arthur Jones. Following this, Mike had to take a long leap of absence from bodybuilding due to a shoulder injury. Mike took nearly 3 years break from bodybuilding. In early 1975, however, he resumed training and returned to competition that same year at the Mr. America contest, placing 3rd. He competed here and there until 1978, where Mentzer won the Mr. Universe in Acapulco, Mexico, with the first and only ever perfect 300 score. He became a professional bodybuilder after that 1978 Mr. Universe win. In late 1979, Mentzer won the heavyweight class of the Mr. Olympia, again with a perfect 300 score, but he lost in the overall to Frank Zane. I have to illustrate, by the way, how crazy that is. Like, no one has ever won a perfect 300 score since, and no one probably will. And no one had won one before that. Crazy. Now, this is where Mike Mentzer's story takes a bit of a turn. There was a bit of a controversy around the 1980s Mr. Olympia, because he was essentially supposed to be pumping iron too. I'm a big Arnold Glazer, so don't come at me thinking I'm a hater for what I'm about to say. But Arnold didn't sign up to the 1980s Mr. Olympia until the very last second. Only once he knew all the judges were on his side, and Arnold only signed up to this Mr. Olympia for ego purposes, to beat Frank Zane.
Welcome to the
1980s Mr. Olympia.
I'm here to greet you, challenger. Ready?
I'll smash your ice into 1,000,000 pieces.
One of the judges, by the name of Dennis Stallard, was from here, Gilbert Goch. My Welsh goat was adamant that Arnold had to do mandatories, or he would be disqualified. He actually apparently shouted at I need to say Alexander Arnold. He didn't shout at Trent. I'll be shouting at Trent, he carries on. He actually apparently shouted at Arnold, "Arnold, you're disqualified, get off the stage." That's my impression of him, by the way. And later that night, my Welsh hero was sacked. Following his loss at the 1980s Mr. Olympia, Mike Mentzer retired from professional bodybuilding, and he maintained that the contest results were predetermined in favour of Arnold Schwarzenegger. And he held this opinion throughout his life. While Mentzer never claimed he should have won, he maintained that Schwarzenegger should not have. Mike Mentzer died on the 10th of June in 2001 in the Rolling Hills, California. He was found dead in his apartment by his younger brother and fellow bodybuilder Ray Mentzer. Throughout his life, he struggled with addiction and substance abuse, including cigarettes, alcohol, and methamphetamines. But it was ultimately heart complications that ended his life prematurely. I hate being a Debbie Downer, so now that we've looked at his life, let's take a minute to look at his training philosophy. Like I said earlier, Mike followed the bodybuilding principles of Arthur Jones, but eventually implemented his own evidence-based training, his mother's advice, and the most up-to-date scientific research available to him at the time. High Intensity Training, The Mike Mentzer Way, was a book written by the GOAT himself and was his last contribution to the bodybuilding world. In it, he detailed the training style that he adopted towards the end of his career, and it was a culmination of everything he had learned up until this point. Mike Mentzer didn't train super frequently. Mike swore by training for 30 minutes a day, 4 times a week. And I had to adapt this training methodology to the frequency that suits me. I train at a different frequency to this, in that I train every single day until I feel my body tell me that I need a rest, and I take a day off. My typical training routine is push-pull legs, and I repeat until I need a day off. Mike Mentzer does an upper body day, then 2 rest days, then another upper, and then 2 days rest, followed by a leg day. I essentially just did 2 uppers back to back, and then a leg day. This time, I even went into a public gym for the leg day instead of making up dumbbell variations because I didn't have the machines in my home gym. Speaking of, I hope you've enjoyed the videos playing in the back. Let's get into the actual workouts now. For this first upper body day, I do one set of cable fly for 6 to 10 reps, supersetted with incline dumbbell press for 1 to 3 reps, with only 3 to 5 seconds rest after I finish the fly before starting the dumbbell press. For these workouts, I had focused on controlled tempo for 3 seconds on the eccentric and 4 seconds on the concentric, with no rest on the top or the bottom of the reps. A training principle I adopted was also Mike's philosophy of rest as much as you need, but not longer than necessary. After a short rest period, I did a set of close grip palms up pull downs with the same tempo for 6 to 8 reps, aiming to fail on the last rep. And then to finish, I did a set of conventional deadlift, one set of 5 to 10 reps. I started this last one pretty heavy with a weight after doing all these other workouts, and deadlift is obviously very high magnitude exercise that causes a lot of systemic fatigue. Suffice it to say, I chucked tempo out the window for this last one and just did as many standard deadlifts as I could until I reached failure. This is where I found my first issue with Mike Mentzer's training style. I didn't really feel like I'd done enough. I'd probably taken my body to the upper limits of what it was actually capable of on every single exercise on this day, but I just feel like I could have had more out of it. I could have done another set of the starting exercise, for example. This is an issue that would extend to the majority of the other days that I trained as well. How does that sound to you? Dumbbell lateral raises first. Yeah, it sounds batshit insane, doesn't it? Everything today, sets of 8 to 10, failing on the 10th. Well, I was talking to my personal trainer, and he said that he did the tempo thing. I'm looking online, I can't find anyone else saying anything about tempo. I reckon we do the usual kind of tempo that I like to do, which is like 0x04. So like, no rest on the bottom, explode up as quick as you can, 0 rest at the top, I have 4 seconds on the way down. Misled, mistook the sky. I think 10 is going to be optimistic. Like that. That's where you're going to be going now. We couldn't do another rep, and you could have had like 1 or 2, maybe. I think we've either got to be doing something wrong.
I think the tempo is part of it.
I think our mentality is off. I think we should have gone for 12 and a half and fucking run through it. But I don't think I could have got a clean set without cheating with the 12 and a halves. You can't do tempo with that, man. With that, it just comes down, man. You slow it down as much as you can so it doesn't fucking slam into your leg.
You do it naturally anyway.
I know. You can't do 4 sets. Fucking here we go. I don't give a fuck. Sorry, Mike Mentzer. Sorry, the ghost of my goat. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Young way up would be impossible.
Yeah, no, it's not getting past 8. Okay, dumbbell reverse fly now. Oh yeah. That's as slow as I can do it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I know he was the first guy ever to score a perfect 300 in bodybuilding. Barbell curls. Straight bar. Straight bar barbell curls. Let's load it up, shall we? He was a strong curler. Gave it when they wanted just to stab you in the back. 9 times out of 10, it's the leader of the pack. Leader of the pack. And I get no pleasure from the pain. Thing is, right, I do feel like I could do another set. That's my issue with all of these. I'd rather do 1 set till like 2 reps in reserve and another set till failure. Nice. All the other filter mites are scared of me. Look, you's just the newest clown. Fuck me. I don't know how many reps that was. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're done. What do you think? For the leg day, I went to a public bodybuilding gym and trained using equipment I don't typically have access to in my home gym. I got to use these cool and quirky hoist machines to pivot when doing any movement. Look how crazy this is. I couldn't get over this when I was doing it. But I stuck to the same principles as the other training days I did. The only difference being I worked in 2 warm-up sets for each exercise, because as anyone who trains jiu-jitsu can testify, if I tried to jump into a top set straight away, my knees may just give up on me. Plus, I was there with 2 other people and it didn't feel right dragging them to a gym where we were just doing 1 set of everything and then leaving. Especially considering that's not what they signed up for. So, we started on the leg extension machine and we actually managed to do our top set on this quirky, weird hoist one. And after a few warm-up sets on the hoist leg press, we moved on to the regular plate-loaded leg press. And I managed to work up to my top set of 200 kilo for 12 reps. I had a bit of an issue with this leg press because the angle that it comes down on is so high you can't get a very good depth, and if you look at me performing the exercise, my quads literally can't go any further because the rest of me is in the way. So it's almost as if I'm not even doing a full rep at any point in the exercise, or as full of a rep as I can do, or I know I can do. After that, we moved on to the other sus machine. It doesn't help that I was literally showing my fore ass to the guy behind me on the pec deck, but I'm sure he had a good view and I bet he appreciated it. After that, we hit the calf raises for another big finisher, and this was probably the most grueling one to take to failure. So what did we learn? The main things that I took away from training like Mike Mentzer was that maybe I'm training kind of too high volume, and maybe I am spending too much time in the gym. Really like the Mike Mentzer superset of cable fly straight into heavy low rep incline dumbbell press. I've even implemented that into my own push days. The only criticism that I've got of training like Mike Mentzer really is that it's not really enough volume for my liking. While I understand you'd have to do it for a few weeks to really see any benefit from it, I also just didn't like the feeling that I hadn't trained enough. Mind you, the focus on recovery would be good for someone who's really into martial arts or hybridity, but needs to spend less time in the gym and more time on their sport. So, for that reason, I'll give it a big fat 6 Michaels out of 10. And if you enjoyed this video, please show us some love, and I'll see you around. Wow. I don't know why, but my heart is beating really fast for some reason recording myself. Bad day to be me.